Hello.
Chickadee check microphone. We're back. Did you guys miss
Hello.
us?
They always miss
I feel
us.
like last week was intense, and we are still here.
Yeah, we're always
Yay!
still
We're
here.
still
We
here.
seem to come back every time somehow.
Yeah, life's been lifing. We've been staying busy, getting the house ready for the summer because it's already May. It's
We kicked
basically
our
May.
asses this weekend.
I'm sore.
Yeah,
I'm very
same. I
sore.
think that's why my head's on fire right now cuz I'm not doing so hot.
Eek.
Yeah.
Well, just a quick those of you who are wondering how my appointment went on Friday, and those of you that took time to reach out to me and just share some, uplifting thoughts or encouragement, thank you. The appointment felt like a full day.
It was. It was a very full day.
And Ember actually was in the room with me the entire time, which was nice because you kind of got to witness what I was explaining to you, what happens when you go through a mammogram.
Y'all, that shit's scary. I'm like 7 years until I have to worry about that, and I'm gonna make every year count because fuck that.
Yeah, it's like a game of Twister plus some kind of like torture game.
Well, I just feel like it's so invasive because you don't know the person, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just a very like vulnerable place to put yourself in and very uncomfortable on top of that.
I think that's why I was like so mentally exhausted afterwards and just needed like a cry fest and then like
You
take a
were
nap.
just
I
like
I
fucking dead for the rest of the
I
day.
just slept through the rest of the day.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was while it was pretty decent news, it wasn't all bad. The masses that were found, there were two masses that were found. Those are just
Fluid filled
yeah,
cysts.
fluid
Those are
filled
nothing to be
cyst.
concerned of.
No concerns there. However, there was calcifications that are clustered, and those bring suspicion, I guess, for them to need to do a biopsy. So my journey has not stopped with that route of it. I have to go back May 7th for a biopsy and meet a surgeon, so that way we can meet the surgeon and discuss things in the beginning, family history, any additional concerns. Then I'll do the biopsy, and then I should have results of the biopsy 2 days from that appointment. And then for me, my thought process is, okay, then what are the next steps after that? Because my end game is to get the top surgery.
Mhm.
So what more do I need to do to keep that in motion? So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, everything will be fine. I think we're right now just kind of hoping for like best news while also able to kind of like use it to our advantage. So everybody just send good juju and we'll continue to manifest the best.
Yeah. So we have a little topic today. I
It'll
feel
be
like
short and sweet and to the point, and
to the point. Is it
it's
ever to the point?
I think so. I mean, I guess this one definitely has a lot of gray area. The whole reason that this topic was even brought up
I
was
had some jealousy. I had some jealousy.
really, you did
Not
not
in
tell me that.
not about that. There wasn't jealousy about that, but the jealousy that I responded to the person that
Oh
asked if
yeah.
you were single, and they
Yeah.
said, "Are you single?" #interested. And I, with the quickness, commented back and said, "No, she's not." And because I'm the stalker that I am, I looked at the person's profile before I commented, and they're like,
They're an animal lover.
they're an
They're
animal
a pet
lover.
lover.
Shout out to all the animal lovers out there. Surprise, we're not. While we're not like, ew, getaway animals, we're just not ones to have pets, because I think it's because we have so many kids.
And I've had my fair share of pets, and I'm
Oh,
just
same.
like so bougie without pets for the rest of my
Same.
life.
So, anyways, this particular person was a cat lover, and so I made sure to let that person know that Ember hates cats and doesn't care for dogs. Whether that was like extreme and harsh and maybe not all the way true, I went ahead and put that there because I was like, step off.
Okay, but
Step off.
I haven't even told you this, but like I started a video of my own as like a response to your response to the comment.
Sweet.
Like, I just think that it's like wildly attractive when your partner can come in and be like just a hint of possessive obsession
You like
crazy.
that?
Yeah, I've always, you've known that. That's not new news to
I
you,
don't do it
but
very often though, because like I play nice in the sandbox, and usually I'm just like, whatever. Like,
I was a little surprised by the comment because there have been times in the past where I've done something like that and you've been like, wow, that was kind of aggressive. And I'm like, that's who I am. Like, I can't help it. So to see you on that side of it was kind of like a turn on, to be completely
okay,
honest.
okay, noted.
So, in that same video where there was some jealousy happening, there was another comment that came through.
Yep, and I read it at the same time as this, and it got me in my thoughts on like a bigger topic that we could talk about today.
And the comment basically says, as a married bisexual woman, this video has me questioning divorce on a random Friday. And a couple other people responded and said, like, me too, haha. So we started kind of thinking about and talking about women or people that are married in a quote unquote straight relationship that identify as bisexual and our thoughts and feelings surrounding that when it comes to lesbians and kind of the negative idea of that comes
Mm-hmm.
from the community. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of lesbians that will say, I avoid bisexual women like the plague
Well,
because there's,
there's biphobia is real, and
biphobia is real.
I will say, for me, like where it got me in my head was like, I think I had like a aha moment when reading that. One, because like I don't know if it was just like a layer of jealousy of people commenting on that video, which you looked amazing by the way.
You know
But
what's funny though?
what?
Kirby didn't comment on that video. Not to me.
Because I can tell you in person. I'm not like that. I don't need to do that. I mean, sometimes I will, but like I know other people are like, you never comment on M's videos. I do, or we
You have
watch them
heard that,
together.
which
You
is
send them to
funny.
me. I
Yeah.
send you my thoughts,
Yeah.
prayers and thoughts.
Well
um,
wishes.
no, but like when I read that was like, oh, I finally understood where some lesbians are coming from, where they're just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Because I think, like I said in the conversation we had, for me, as a now fully out lesbian, I now understand how hard it can be for some people to cross that line, right? Like, you can joke about being attracted to women, or you can get fucked up and make out with a girl. And all of those things are like, cool, dip your toes, play your game, whatever. To actually tell your truth, divorce your husband if you have one, um, share with your super religious family, to do all of those things and make it a real, like, reality, that's not an easy feat.
That's not, but I feel like you're thinking of that as like your journey didn't stop at, and neither did mine, at being once identifying as bisexual. Your journey didn't stop there, and it continued to evolve and land you to where you are today. But like, what about when you were in the place, as identifying as a bisexual, and you were making the content that led me to you, making
Mm-hmm.
content saying, I am happily married to a man, in love with my masculinity, and attracted to women. That
Mm-hmm.
was enough for you at that time
Mm-hmm.
to make your claim. And I will say, for me, when I was still in that place of I never felt like I completely like had some coming out moment, or needed to label myself as a bisexual.
Same. I don't think I
I
ever wrote in
never
words, I'm
said
a
it. It
bisexual.
was just when I was in it, I was in it, and when I wasn't, I wasn't. But I still always found myself you know, being on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So where I'm going with this is, at the time, like that's what we felt was, I don't know if we weren't claiming as hard though.
Yeah, I think for me,
And I'm not
it's
saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying like maybe we didn't have the tools, or we didn't feel safe enough to explore,
mm-hmm.
experiment, claim one side or the other, or equally both sides.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of what I was explaining in our last conversation for me, I would like to believe, and I could be wrong, but I would like to believe that 99.9% of women are attracted to women. Whether you, like actually do anything about it or not, most women can appreciate that women are beautiful people,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, whatever. I don't think that that means that everybody is bisexual, though. I think that there's like this difference between having an appreciation and an attraction to women
Mm-hmm.
and being actually bisexual. I
But
don't
so
know.
you're
It's
but you're
such a
so but you're saying that there has to be, like, you're drawing this line of saying you either, if you're not acting on it, then you can't claim it.
I'm saying that if you are a woman that has been with men your entire life and you are happily married to a man, but you have an appreciation for women being beautiful people, that does not make you bisexual. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I
And I
get
know a
it. I
lot of
get it.
people will probably be like, you're wrong. But I look at it like from where I'm sitting. While I am a lesbian, and that's what I will always label myself as from here on out, from what I know anyway, I can appreciate a good looking man. I can look at a man and say, that's a good looking man. But I have no desire to take it any further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I don't identify as bisexual because there's no part of me that fantasizes, thinks about, or wants to get in a man's pants
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
While on the flip side, there are women in the same position. Women can look at another woman and say, "Wow, she's so beautiful." But does she want to sleep with her? No. So like, are you still bisexual or are you just appreciative of attractive people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the reason why it's so on the spectrum side of being a queer or lesbian, I think the reason why it gets so there's this tension between the two is because while some bisexuals are saying, like, yeah, I'm bisexual because I'm attracted to women, but I'm in this very secure, like, I have straight privilege. You
Mm-hmm.
have straight privilege. You don't have to deal with the shortcomings or the fears and all of the shit that
Mm-hmm.
lesbian,
You have
gay,
a safety
queer, you
blanket to
have, yeah.
fall back on when you're done playing around with the idea.
Right. And I think that's why, um, whether you're a gold star lesbian or just, however you got there on your journey, you landed at grabbing the label of a lesbian. I think lesbians that do find themselves with bisexuals, um, they tend to either have a bad taste because they've been hurt because they thought the love was real, and then their person went back to a straight relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So they just feel kind of like very disposable.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that another side of it that I've personally witnessed is that lesbians don't treat bisexuals as long-term relationships all the time. They do the same. They kind of like have their fun, and they're just like, oh, like you're just a fun, not experiment, because they're not experimenting, but just like very casual. It's very
Mm-hmm.
casual because the guard is up, because they're not going to get into a long committed relationship for most cases with a bisexual, unless you're a bisexual that is truly living in the space of having a very open relationship. And I think that's where it gets sticky in relationships, because while this person who commented on that video, in the middle of the night, maybe while her husband is peacefully sleeping, thinking that they have a completely straight relationship, in her POV, she's like, yeah, I'm attracted to women, and this is like making me want to get a divorce. And like
And so
having,
we kind of turned it around and we were like, how would we feel if we were scrolling TikTok and we came across a video of some attractive man and one of the two of us had commented on it today or,
Mhm.
and said, like, oh shit,
you,
this is making me want to backpedal. Like,
yeah,
you're
you
making me
got
feel like
you
maybe
make
I
me
could
want
go to
to
men
jump
again.
back
Like,
to the other side.
that would be so incredibly hurtful. And while I'm guilty of it, not like now, but like when I was with men, totally guilty of like commenting on women's videos or saying things that I'm sure would have hurt my husband at the time.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That person that commented that on your video, I am willing to bet $100 that she would not show her husband
Right.
that comment. She just wouldn't. She might have her moment and get it out, but she's not going to show him a comment. And while the D word is being thrown out all the time by these, I'm going to lean to say more bi curious, not bisexual. You're
Mm-hmm.
curious. You think it might look fun, or
Mm-hmm.
the grass is greener on the other side, but
And that's why I bring up how hard it is to actually get to that point. It's easy to say, that sounds fun. It's easy to joke about or even have a night of fun, but it's a lot harder to actually follow through with it. And so I think that, like, for me, where I'm at, it's kind of like this, it's almost like kind of an ick for me of like, where are you at with it? And it's an ick because, like, again, I'm guilty of it. There was one point in my life where I was that girl, but knowing how much work and how much fight it took to get to this point, like, don't play that game. It's kind of fucked up.
I
But
I see
guilty.
like
Guilty.
right, and I see so many sides of it, and like while we're not like gatekeeping or saying there's one way or the other, there is no, like, your journey is your journey and your identity is your identity to own, and however that lands you. I think for me, I personally was like, bitch, you're commenting on my wife's video like you're about to go get a divorce, but show it to your husband. Like, really, like, because we did do the hard work, the scary, but that doesn't
And I'm
mean
sure there
that's
were
like,
people that saw comments from you that thought the same thing 3 years ago.
yeah.
Like, show your husband, you know?
I had people messaging him saying, like, do you
Yeah.
know what your wife does on TikTok or
Yeah.
comments on TikTok? That's the other side of it. Y'all need, if you are teetering between bi curious and bisexual, you need to realize that there are lesbian, like FBI, like taking screenshots and holding on to those receipts. And I'm telling you, if you cross in a, like, if you're tiptoeing with the idea of a relationship with a lesbian and you think that you can have your cake and eat it too, like, without the husband knowing, they will make sure that he finds out.
Here's the other part of it, though, and this might be bold for me to say, but I think that anybody who leaves a comment like that is, they understand how social media works and they understand that there's a possibility of their husband seeing it, and maybe they're okay with that. Maybe there's a piece of them way deep down that they're like, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm, maybe that's what needs to happen.
But or maybe, like, there are people in their straight marriage that have an open, I'm not going to say open relationship, but open
Dialogue.
conversation and dialogue around the idea of, like, I am so attracted to women. Because, okay, when I was like, I never came out, like, I never had a coming out of, like, I'm bisexual. Like I said, I just fell into leaning that way sometimes more than I typically would. And more so when I was like actively going to functions around other queer, lesbian, bisexuals. Okay. So before I was like openly dipping my toes in the water, I would watch a lot like, I was watching the L Word. Okay.
Yeah.
I sat and watched that with my ex husband.
Mm-hmm.
Would I do that today? No, that would be so uncomfortable. But I was trying to get a piece of like watching lesbian relationships and understanding it. And to me, at the time, like, that was fulfilling my label or my identity of, like, I want to know more. And just because it's like, maybe it's an attraction, but maybe there's thoughts or curiosity, or there's just things that feel like there's a gap in your marriage, and whether you're still happy and you have your straight marriage, and while that works great and is safe and you have your privilege from it, you might find yourself kind of questioning and saying, like, I don't know, like, I'm intrigued by this other side. I think there's something missing in my life. That's still enough to, like, have something to hold on to for your identity and your journey to whatever fits, like, at that time. And it can evolve from feeling, 1 minute you're like, I'm a straight married woman. The next minute you're like, I'm really bisexual this year. Like, I cannot get enough. Like, I'm watching every like gay program out there. I'm trying to show up to meetups where, queer spaces, whether it's Pride Month and you're just feeling like an ally, but you're there representing. Like, there are just so many layers. I don't think there's one right or wrong way. I think what upset me about that post was like, it's so easy to do that, but like, I had more questions. I wanted to know where they were at with like, it just bothered me for whatever reason as a lesbian. It bothered me.
Yeah, I think it bothered you more so because of the video it was on. I think if you would have read it on anyone else's video, it wouldn't have bothered you as much. I think it hits home because it's your person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would feel the same way. I think anybody would. It's like a protective thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think I have all the respect for all of the people that label themselves as all of the things. And I've been in all of those positions myself, or a lot of the positions myself. But I think as a lesbian now, I fully, wholeheartedly understand the frustration behind it. Whereas 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been like, what's the big deal? Like, we're just bisexual. But now I'm like, no, I get it. I get it. I get why lesbians avoid bisexual people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing, it's all about preference.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, everybody will figure it out, but
yeah, and what works for some people might not work for others, and it's very fluid. And I guess my advice to, if you're listening, you're bisexual, but you're living in a privileged straight marriage or relationship, if you truly are really looking for more
lacking.
or just feeling like there's a gap,
Mm-hmm.
talk to your spouse, talk to your partner, your person, and have open conversations about ways that you can fulfill your identity. Because as someone who's going to be 45 this year and not really grabbing on and understanding, like grasping my identity, you all have watched my journey unfold. And I will say, you have to put yourself in situations and meet new groups of people to learn more about yourself. Like, just like when it comes to experimenting with food, and you're like, I've never tried this type of food, like go out there and like experience it and recognize that your palate changes over time, and something that maybe you didn't like 7 years ago you like a lot today. And I think that life is too short to not really know all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not telling y'all to run out and get divorces or anything like that, but
I mean, also, the more you expose yourself to new things, be prepared for new things to become something you like at the same time.
right. And then it's no longer just um an attraction. It's like, I gotta have it.
Right.
I have
Well,
to have that.
like you said, like a food, you can think about eating something forever. Like sushi. I hated sushi my entire fucking life. And then I tried it, and
Then you were
now
a lesbian and you're
I
like, I
literally
fucking love
crave
sushi.
it like once a week. So just be prepared when you
Yeah.
expose yourself to new things. It's oftentimes going to come back as something that you actually want it again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm just saying, like, don't limit yourself. Keep having open conversations, keep putting yourself in queer spaces. If
mm-hmm.
and talk to people.
Yeah, talk to your spouses.
Yeah,
Talk to your spouses.
because
Like I've always said, they deserve the truth.
right. And I think, oh God, there's so many layers. We could get into a whole nother topic, but that's enough. We want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Is this like a topic that you think about often? Or are you also feeling in a position where you're like, I don't know where I'm going on my journey right now, but I do feel that gap, and point me in the right direction.
Yeah. Yep.